For this video, I'm going to demonstrate how we go about adding an appointment for supervision of a paraprofessional with insurance billing using code H0032. As you can see here, I have an appointment set up already for Wednesday, February 13th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. doing direct care at home. I'm going to click on this just to look at the details. So if I was a supervisor, I might be looking at the client's case here. In this case, the provider is myself, and this is with our test case, Gabe Wilson. And the supervisor can see that this is from 6 to 9, and if they go into full details, they will see that this is using the authorized code of H2019, direct care by a paraprofessional. So what I want to do as a supervisor is I want to come in and I want to overlap with that provider. I want to do this from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. or any time in that frame. It doesn't really matter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an appointment here. I'm going to click on the calendar. I'm making an appointment with Gabe Wilson. I'm going to do this, in this case, from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. I'm going to use one of our providers here to be the supervisor. This is going to be supervision of a para, and we're going to put in the location at the home, and we're going to add the code. In this case, the code is going to be H0032, supervision of a para by a BCBA. We're going to use this. Fills in the slot for 1 hour, and I'm going to create the appointment. I'm going to view the calendar. Now, right now I'm looking at Gabe Wilson's calendar. You can go here and you see I'm looking at only his calendar. And there's 2 appointments on there, and they're overlapping. But what needs to happen actually with this supervision of a para is that additional participants should have been made there. And the reason is this. Let me go back. I will show you. If I look only at my calendar, calendar for me, okay, and I get rid of Gabe Wilson's calendar, you can see that I do not see that the supervisor is coming in. As far as I know, I'm doing a session from 6 to 9 and that's it. But what we want to have happen is we want to have that supervisor overlap show here also. So we bring back Gabe's calendar. I'm going to get rid of mine for now. And in the supervisor overlap, I'm going to go and edit this. I'm going to add an additional participant. And this is going to be the therapist. Okay. Update the appointment. Viewing the calendar. Doesn't look any different here. However, again, if I bring up my calendar only, show only my calendar, here we go again. Now we see in gray this appointment that's showing up only on my calendar in this view. What has to happen also, though, is now I have myself double booked. I have 6 to 9 direct care, and I have a supervisor showing up from 6 to 7. And when that supervisor goes ahead and converts that appointment, I don't want to have a double timesheet here. What the supervisor needs to do then, actually when the supervisor creates this appointment, they go into my calendar and they're going to edit this appointment for me. Going into full details, they're going to truncate my appointment and make it from 7 p.m., keeping it at 9 p.m. Okay, go down here, use a little stretchy tool, fill in that time, update the appointment. And we're going to say supervisor adjusted for overlap. And I'm going to view the calendar, and now there is an appropriate looking schedule. What I see is that from 6 to 7 on my calendar, I have Gabe Wilson, supervision of a paraprofessional, and then from 7 to 9, my direct care at home. So I'm back at the calendar. I had to detour for a couple of minutes to set up some codes and other features to make this work properly. But basically, at this point, the supervisor has conducted her session, and the therapist has conducted his or her session. And the supervisor goes in when she's done, or he at this point, and needs to create a timesheet. So first, she's going to convert her own timesheet, her own appointment to a timesheet. She clicks there. And she's doing this for the private pay, supervision of a para, and she's going to do whatever forms she needs to do, collect the client's signature, and hit save, and that goes into her timesheets. Closing out that window, she also needs to go ahead and convert the timesheet for the therapist. The therapist will not be able to convert this into a timesheet for themselves. They don't have that permission in our setup. So she goes and hits click to convert. And in this case, what needs to happen, though, is since this is for the therapist, we can see right here, she's going to change this, and she's going to use a service code, supervisor overlap. And that goes into the therapist's timesheet. It's from 6 to 7. We hit save and return. Okay, and we go back to that. I'm going to close this, and now if we hit refresh, these appointments have both been converted to a timesheet. When the therapist is done with their session, they go ahead, they create their timesheet, convert to timesheet, and they make it whatever time they work. They can make an adjustment here if they need to. If they ended early, they're going to just change it to 8:45 p.m. Save and return. Oh, restricted by early timesheet conversion. Well, because it's not quite that time yet. So that's the problem. But in any case, that's what they would do. And they would collect that signature and convert that appointment. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I'm going to run through this really quick for tomorrow. So therapist goes in, makes an appointment at 6 p.m. Okay? That's me with Gabe Wilson. Okay? From 6 o'clock to 8:30. Okay? Picking the location, home. Adding the service code. The therapist does H2019. Make that fill the void. Create the appointment. Direct care at home. Create the appointment. View my calendar. Once the therapist appointment is in, the supervisor is going to schedule their time. So this is for Gabe Wilson, and supervisor puts their name in with this client, and in this case they're going to do supervision of a para from 7:30 to 8:30. They are going to list the paraprofessional as the additional participant. This is supervision of a paraprofessional. Location is at the home. Going to add the code of H0032. 1 hour. Create the appointment. Viewing calendar, we see now it shows up actually on the supervisor's schedule. It shows up on the therapist's schedule, and it shows up on the client's schedule. Okay? I can just take this out. And I'm looking only at Gabe's calendar here. But what needs to happen is this overlap shouldn't be happening with the direct care. So the supervisor would go in prior to the event happening and modify the therapist's time. So the therapist's schedule is going to change from 6 to 7:30. And using the stretchy tool, we fix that. Update the appointment. We're going to say that we added supervision of para. Okay. Viewing the calendar. That's the proper way for the calendar to look. That's the way it would look on the supervisor's, the supervisee's schedule also. I'm going to look at my calendar. I'm going to get rid of Gabe's. Okay. And you can see that it's grayed out. That means someone made it, using me as an additional participant. The supervisor will convert this for both the supervisor and for the therapist. The therapist takes their own. The therapist should not convert their appointment to be from 6 to 8:30. They're going to have two timesheets, 6 to 7:30 and then 7:30 to 8:30 as supervisor overlap. Thank you very much. I hope this works for everyone.